Good afternoon, good evening, or even good morning, wherever you are in the world. I'm Matt Blackburn, and you're listening to an independent, studio-based off-tube commentary of Canada against Morocco in the round of 16. Wherever you are listening, make sure that you are watching through your local broadcaster, because this is where the tournament sharpens again. No group table to rescue, no margin for a slow night, no next fixture to put it right. Houston, the 4th of July, a host nation still alive, and Africa's great modern standard bearers on the other side, and a place in the quarter-finals waiting for one of them. There is history between these two sides as well. Morocco beat Canada back in Qatar in 2022, a 2-1 win that helped them top the group and sent them towards that extraordinary semi-final run. Canada have never beaten Morocco at senior level. That is not the whole story tonight, however, but it is enough to add an edge. Canada are not just chasing a quarter-final, they're chasing a statement against a side that once helped close their tournament. Morocco are not just protecting reputation, they're trying to prove that 2022 was not a peak, but a platform. For Canada, this has always become a summer that changes how the country talks about the men's national team. They came into this tournament carrying the weight and opportunity of being co-host, but hosting only gives you a stage. It does not win you the moments, and Canada have had to earn those. The round of 32 gave them one of the great moments in their football story. South Africa held at arm's length, stoppage time ticking away, and Stephen Ukisau arriving on the goal that took Canada into new territory. A first knockout win, a first step beyond old limitations, and suddenly the question is not whether Canada belong here, it is how far they can push it. Morocco, though, are not a romance act passing through. They are a serious tournament side with recent proof in the bank, and in Qatar they became the first African and Arab team to reach a semi-final, and this generation still carries authority of that run. They have already, though, come through a proper storm here. 7 points in the group, second only on goal difference behind Brazil. Then the Netherlands in the round of 32, a late equaliser, a penalty shootout, and a Bono bringing out that old aura, and Ismail Saibari finishing the job from the spot. It was not clean, it wasn't necessarily calm, but knockout football does not ask how neatly you survive, it only asks whether you survive at all. Jesse Marsh has built his side around running aggression and courage during this competition. Canada are not here to admire Morocco's football, however. They are here to make the game uncomfortable, to make every pass feel rushed, every duel feel contested, and every transition feel like danger. He says that his side are not looking for revenge of 4 years ago, but he wasn't the coach at the time, and some players, as he's put, won't share that sentiment. He makes 3 changes to the side that pulled through in the 92nd minute against South Africa and starts in his usual 4-4-2 formation with Krapau in goal, who's set 2 clean sheets in the competition so far. With old-school left-sided defender Cornelius out, De Figueiredo comes back into the side after starting all 3 group games before dropping out against South Africa, and sits alongside Bombito at centre-back, with Johnston on the right and Layer on the left side of the rear guard. Saliba drops to the bench with Segur taking his place and provides the Swiss Army knife-style football that Marsh may need at these stages of the competition. Buchanan, Ahmed, who comes in for Miller on the left wing, and the man who got them here in the 92nd minute with that winner against South Africa, Eustachiou, who has been by far the Maple Leafs' best player in this tournament. Up front is Canada's top scorer Jonathan David and Villarreal's Tani Oluwase. Morocco coach Mohamed Ouabi says that his side aren't tiring despite the 120 minutes that they played a few days ago against the Netherlands. His side went the distance in January at the AFCON and know what it takes to make the stride forward in knockout football. He's gone for tried and tested over freshness as he makes just one change, with Halhal replacing Riyad in the defence, and he starts with a now familiar 4-2-3-1 with Bono in goal. Now 5 appearances away from 100 for his country. Hakimi, who did make 100 appearances in that penalty shootout win against the Netherlands in the round of 32, is at right back. Diop, the saviour in regular time, is joined by Halhal, whose only other appearance this tournament was in a 4-2 win against Haiti a week and a half ago. Man United's Mazraoui completes the back line on the left-hand side. Ainaoui and Bouhaddi sit just in front, with El Khanous, Ouahi, and Diaz, who got away with that Panenka stinker in the AFCON final, and hoping that he can offer more in this competition, sits behind the man who's just signed for Bayern Munich, Ismail Saibari. The referee is Michael Oliver of England, who reached the highest level of domestic game in England, aged just 25. He takes charge of his 6th game at the Worlds and has reduced the amount of cards that he issued 4 years ago in Qatar, where he averaged 6 a game. He's assisted by Stuart Burt and James Mannering. Dutch referee Danny McKelly has been named as 4th official for this one. We are moments away from kick-off in the first of the round of 16 games. It is all to play for. Morocco come in as favourites, but it is Canada who get us underway in this one and immediately go long down the right-hand side, and the referee, I think, might actually pull this back and restart the game entirely. He might not. He might have just allowed that as Bombito just sends it out of play. No, he is in fact going to restart it, as the official on the near side wasn't quite happy with the timing of the game getting underway. Now Canada in that all-black strip do get us underway on the second opportunity, going from left to right. Morocco in that all-white strip, going from right to left, winning the ball back and trying to move it across towards the right-hand side here in Houston. It is a very, very hot desert day in Houston. It's just gone 1 o'clock local time. 12 o'clock, local time. It is 6 o'clock in Morocco and 1 o'clock in Toronto in Canada. Depends where you are, I guess. In Canada, depends on the time that it is on the East Coast. A little bit later into the afternoon than on the West, as Canada tried to send the long throw down the left channel, but it's going more in hope than expectation and falls kindly towards Yassine Bono in the goal, the Al Hilal goalkeeper making his 95th appearance. He had that penalty night icon status now. Was born himself, though, in Canada, raised in Casablanca, and was central to that win against the Netherlands just a week and a half ago. But how will he fare this afternoon against the side of his birth, as Morocco tried to make their way down the right-hand side, just breaking in towards the Canadian half, but lose out and give away an early free kick 5 yards into the Canadian half over on the opposite side of the pitch, which Laïr tries to take quickly, but he's just blocked by Brahim Diaz over on the far side. I wonder what he must have thought after having the AFCON title overturned via email for Morocco. It is still with CAS to decide whether it will be Senegal or Morocco that have that title or not. Senegal refusing to give up the trophy. They say if you want it, you're going to have to come and get it, as they've got it in hiding for the time being. On paper, it is Morocco that have given it, but there are certainly questions that will be asked if that is to stand in their favour. They were the beneficiaries of the exact same thing that happened in 1976 in the African Cup of Nations. Morocco walked off the pitch in the 75th minute after they had a player sent off. They thought it wasn't fair and they walked off and stood on the sidelines for 15 minutes. Well, debates were going on about whether they want the game to continue or not. A very, very similar affair. So if that one gets overturned stays overturned in their favour, surely that one is given to Gabon, and they remain with just one title to their name, as they'll win a free kick on this near side just inside the Canadian half, but I don't think they're thinking about that at this moment in time. I'm sure Senegal are still thinking about it, but those in white on the pitch today, they have a job to do against the side that they haven't lost against in the 4 times they have come together. They've won the last 3, including the 2022 group stage, in which Morocco came out 4-2 winners to top the group on that occasion. They became the darlings of Qatar 2022, beating Spain and Portugal on the run to the semi-finals, losing to France and eventually then losing to Croatia in the 3rd place playoff, as Canada win the ball in the middle. It's Eustachiao who just moves it across towards Laïr on the left-hand side, just holds his run and then starts to drive down the left-hand side, taking on Diaz. Does ever so well, got a bit lucky with the pass, returning back to his feet, continues to drive to the byline, and the referee points to the corner flag on the far side of the pitch, and it's a good run for one of the host nations. They don't have any of the knockout rounds in Canada. They're all going to be in America, who sort of hijacked the majority of the games, despite Mexico and Canada having the opportunity to co-host with them. Mexico themselves are playing on Sunday afternoon against England. They're trying to make it uncomfortable for the English in their hotel room. We'll see how that comes along. But here comes a corner kick from the far side for Canada. 4.5 minutes into this game. Whipped in towards the 6-yard box, but it's easy enough for Bono just to punch away back towards the corner taker over on the far side of the pitch, which was Eustaquio, who has been excellent in this tournament. Flicked on in towards the area for Canada. Comes towards Jonathan David. Can't quite get the shot back across the goal. It's just taken a deflection off Bono and out for another corner kick. And the Canadians in the stands here in Houston applauding their side early doors. It was a lovely ball that came in towards the edge of the area, flicked on nicely by De Figueroles, who stayed up the pitch from the corner that was taken moments before. Got it in towards the path of Jonathan David, who couldn't quite bring it down on his first attempts, and the second just got away from him. Had to try and bring it back across the 6-yard box, but there was Bono just to stick out a strong right hand and put it out for a corner kick. Eustaquio was man of the match in that game against South Africa. Steps up again to put it in towards the 6-yard box, but this one's easily dealt with by Diop, the other man who scored very late on against the Netherlands to take it to extra time. There, a slide tackle comes in as well from Morocco, but it's another corner kick to Canada, this time on the near side. It was Hal who came flying across the back line to put in a sliding tackle, and he had to connect with that perfectly. Getting there ahead of Buchanan down this right-hand side, and Eustaquio is the captain for Canada. Once again makes his way over. He'll go back to Porto, who will be delighted after his tournament spell. He spent time on loan in LAFC this season. He's been Canada's heartbeat and the organiser and big game player during this competition as it goes in towards a near post, flicked on by De Figueroles, but returns back to him on this near side, sending it into the 6-yard box. The keeper comes to it, but hasn't got the confidence there. Comes back out to Eustaquio down the right-hand side, tries to feed it in again towards De Figueroles, who's been all over inside the Moroccan box in the early stages of this contest of Canada, who didn't come into this game as favourites, or having the better of the ball so far. It's sent high in towards the Canadian half. Down goes Saibari, who's trying to bait the referee inside the Canadian half, but Canada happy to just allow play to go on, and they have lost possession, and the referee will now look to stop it. In fact, he is saying play on to the players. Michael Oliver is quite happy. In fact, he has now asked them to put it out, and Saibari, who recently signed for Bayern Munich, had a spell with PSV. He's also known for being the man that was chasing ball boys around in that African Cup of Nations final, trying to take towels off them. He also has 3 goals in 4 games during this tournament as well. He will be one that they will want to get back to his feet. Scored against Scotland and Haiti, and then converted the decisive penalty against the Netherlands in the last round. The 25-year-old been a breakout star of this competition, and he is back to his feet once again. No treatment needed. We've seen that through this tournament so far, that players are more inclined to reject the physio coming on because they need to go off for a minute or so, but we also did see the opposite of that happen in the Argentina-Cape Verde game, with Cape Verde having a corner and the referee allowing the Argentinian to come back onto the pitch almost instantly, in fact waiting for the time to disappear before allowing him back on. He wasn't very kosher from the referee, and that's the way to put it. 9 minutes gone in this game. Canada having a few early corners, but nothing really to threaten Bono in the goal. Morocco just trying to control the ball now and get a bit of momentum back into it after a brief spell without possession. Canada will work it back towards Kripau inside the goal. The Orlando City man certainly making an impact as well for Canada during this competition. Looks long down the right-hand side, looking for the run of Oluwase. Can't quite get there, though, ahead of excellent defending, but the referee has actually given a free kick against Oluwase. Looked like the linesman was pointing to the corner flag on the near side, but just had a little bit of a coming together with Issa Diop, who just cut across his man ever so well and then just went down under the faintest of touches. Something that has crept into the game as defenders that get themselves between man and ball take the slightest of touch and then go down to the ground and get away with it. Just getting away with it, though, inside his own half is Bombito, who didn't have the most confidence of touches, but it falls kindly towards Buchanan on the right-hand side, trying to stretch his legs and go it. The Manchester United defender Mazraoui, but this time Laia gives him a good shove in the back, and that one I don't think you can have too many complaints about. And I don't think he will, as the referee gives the free kick Morocco's way. Happy to get on with it quickly. Trying to push it towards the right-hand side is Ainaoui. Gives it away, though, over on the far side and cut then in towards Oluwase. If he can find it back in towards Jonathan David. Tries to go alone. Good shot, good stop. Sorry by the goalkeeper, down to his left-hand side, just getting his leg in front of the ball. Rather selfish, though, from Oluwase, who really should have passed it to Jonathan David, who kept himself onside. Would have had a certain goal for Canada. And Canada still trying to win the ball back on this near side, but the linesman giving a free kick against Buchanan, who just went in with a late challenge. Studs were raised right in front. More of the English linesman, but it was poor from the Moroccan defence. It came right back in towards Ahmed, fed it in nicely towards Oluwase, who turned beautifully past Hal, and then tried to feed it into the bottom left-hand corner of Bono's goal. But he should have passed it across towards top scorer Jonathan David. And that is a chance that goes begging for Canada. 11 minutes into this game. Can Morocco punish them right at the other end? No. Good interception at the back, cutting across from Bombito once again. Johnston just got himself a little bit caught out at the back, but good recovery work from Bombito, the Nice defender. And that was nice of him, if you'll pardon the pun. Is it even a pun? Over on the left-hand side with Canada on the left corner of the Moroccan box once again. Fed in towards Jonathan David. Just lays it back off, though, towards Eustaquio. The captain, though, can't quite feed it back in towards Jonathan David, but it's cleared out for a throw-in over on the far side, halfway inside the Morocco half. As Canada trying to apply more early pressure in this game. How will that chance go begging for Canada in this one? Given away, though, on the edge of their area once again, in towards Eustaquio. Can't quite just dance his way in towards the box, and Morocco will come away with the ball down the right-hand side, trying to just clear it in to the Canadian half, but Bombito is there. Second ball falls kindly in towards Buchanan in the centre of the Moroccan half. Just moves it out towards the right-hand side and just invites Johnson to come onto it. But a space, an opportunity to cross it in towards the box, so you would say he was in an offside position. Comes back out towards Eustaquio, feeds it in towards Jonathan David, tries to then again just tuck it in towards the runner of Buchanan. Going in towards the box, and Canada just not making the right decisions in the final third. Jesse Marsh applauds it on the touchline. He's happy with how his side have started in the opening 13 minutes of this game. He certainly should be. As Canada came through Group B, they beat South Africa 1-0 in the round of 32 through that Eustaquio stoppage time winner. And that match mattered emotionally as much as statistically. It was Canada's first knockout win at the tournament and proof that the group can suffer, keep running, and still come up with that one late moment. They'd never won a game in the Worlds before this tournament. And they have now got a couple to their name as well, and now they'd love to add another and reach their first ever quarter-final. Win against Qatar, albeit two men were sent off for Qatar, one rather harshly. It wouldn't have changed too much of the outcome of the game itself, as Canada ran riot that afternoon north of the border, but down in the south of America here in Houston, it's still 0-0. 14 minutes gone in this contest. Morocco back on the ball, just trying to set their own tempo, as they do like to do. They will play their own way even against the best of sides, and they'll move it down the right hand side and win a free kick as well, as Hakimi is just taken out over on the far side. The Moroccan captain, he'll have questions to answer as well when he does make his way back to France, which he won't mention too much of during the commentary. I'll let the French officials deal with that one. But over on the far side, he's back on the ball again. He's trying to work and find a bit of room, but can't find anything central, so we'll just retreat back towards Diop, who's sitting 15 yards behind. Tries to then look down the right-hand channel to get it over the top of the Canadian back line, but Crepau does ever so well to come out of his area, commands it beautifully, and just clears it back into the Moroccan half. But the momentum swinging now into Morocco's favour. They've dealt with that early spell of pressure from Canada, and now they can start to get themselves into the game as they grow a little more, showing us signs of life which they struggled with in the opening 15 minutes of the game. Back with Diop. Over towards the right-hand side. Once more into Bouadi. Loses out and goes down, and the free kick goes the way again as Hakimi's taken out, holding that left boot. Almost deja vu as from 2 minutes ago. There's a foot just left in on the right boot of Hakimi. Over on the far side by Laia. Applies his trade up in Canada, in the MLS for Toronto. Likes to play on the edge without crossing it. Just occasionally likes to put in some low crosses, but he also puts in plenty of tackles as well. And we've seen that in the early stages of this game over on the far flank. Morocco back with the ball, just slowing down the tempo of the game, just controlling the ball, moving it back again towards the goalkeeper, Yassine Bono, who just lays it out in towards the middle to Hal. Pushes it across nicely towards Diop. Again, tries to look forward, this time towards Saibari. Looked like he might have strayed offside. We'll wait for the linesman to make a decision. And as Saibari held it up and waited for the run of Diaz, the linesman over on the far side does put his flag up, the Englishman. As Saibari did stray half a yard offside, and the benefit of the pitch being mowed the way it has, going across the pitch. And you don't tend to see extravagant groundsmen these days in football. The Leicester City groundsman, not too sure if it is still the same groundsman. Over in England, used to love making interesting patterns every single game, would always change it up. Could become a little bit of an eyesore at times, though. Down the right-hand side come Canada once again, trying to feed in Buchanan, and it's another excellent ball intercepted by Hal, but could only put it out for a corner kick in Canada. Just stretching the back line of Morocco once again. Buchanan, who's offering plenty of freedom down that right-hand side. The Villarreal man is an old-school winger. He loves to step over, loves the feint, and loves to just try and run at defenders. And he's unsettling Morocco so far with the one-on-ones down that right-hand side. Wins a corner kick, which Estacio will come across to take. 5 Canadians lurk around the penalty spot. 2. 1, in fact, inside the 6-yard box, with 3 lurking on the edge of the penalty area as well. It's just floated in towards the box. It's an excellent ball in, but it's a header that didn't have too much conviction from Alistair Johnston. He was free inside the penalty area. The runners did their job. They pulled the defenders away. They left him all on his own, the Celtic defender. He's only ever scored 1 for his country, and on that occasion just heads it straight into the Moroccan defence, who didn't know too much about it, but it was a peach of a ball from Estacio. A beautifully played cross in towards the box. Excellent work from the runners. A well played set piece from Jesse Marsh's side. The American said he's not looking for revenge from 4 years ago. I think the players that played in that game will certainly want a little bit of revenge themselves. Jesse Marsh wasn't involved at that point, but he has turned around Canada's fortunes. 83% of the time Canada have either won or drawn since he has been in charge. Just the 4 defeats to their name. He really has made a difference to this Canadian side, who are on the ball again, a couple of yards inside the Moroccan half, just on this near side. Hugging the touchline is Buchanan, who's fed into the ball nicely as Oluwase goes down under the challenge, and Canada try to play advantage, but the referee, Michael Oliver, pulls it back and issues a yellow card, in which the Moroccans, who certainly love a protest when it comes to decisions that are made, are trying to show the protestations to the referee once again, and they might have a little bit of an issue on that occasion. Lahir has done very similar things on the opposite side to Hakimi. He's not gone into the book, but Redouane Hal, the McClellan man, on his 5th appearance for the national team, has found himself in Michael Oliver's book. As Saibari is down, holding the back of his right hamstring as well, and that's not something that Morocco would like to see, and Bayern Munich certainly won't want to see as well. He'll be joining Harry Kane in the Bayern setup. Harry Kane having a wonderful season, 72 goals, 7 assists to his name during this season. No player, bar the one season by Lionel Messi, has beaten the season that Harry Kane is going, and people are trying to question whether he doesn't deserve the Ballon d'Or, and whether Dembele, who's scored just 10 league goals this season, could well be better than him. Absolutely not. It should be an individual trophy. I am biased because I am English, but I am also very biased in the fact that it should be awarded to the best player of the year, not a team trophy. Lewandowski was robbed during the COVID years when he didn't get one. And Saibari, well, his tournament is likely going to come to an end, and they are forced into a change 21 minutes into this game. Ismail Saibari, his 12 goals in 34. He scored 15 this season for PSV before making that move to Bayern Munich. He comes off. The Moroccans cheering him off the pitch, but he's going to make his way off, and it's going to fall to Soufiane Rahimi, the Al Ain man, born in Raja's training ground, scored off the bench against Haiti. He brings Asian Champions League pedigree. 13 goals in 41 appearances for the national team, 8 domestically for the 30-year-old. But he's going to have to do some defensive work when we get back underway, as Estakiou lines up on this near side for Canada. It's an excellent angle to cross it into the box, puts it, trying to get it in towards that corridor of uncertainty, but it just floats more comfortably towards Yassine Bono, when it's meat and drink for a goalkeeper of his quality, for the 35-year-old who just plucks it out of the sky. So Rahimi is the man. It comes on up front. It's a like-for-like change for the Moroccans. Not something that they would want to have happen. I'm surprised the referee Michael Oliver didn't call the hydration break just before that free kick was taken, and we come up to the 23rd minute in the game. It's flicked on in towards the middle. Canada Blades get the advantage down the left-hand side. Buchanan trying to stretch his legs. He's got one for company over on that far side in white in Bouadi. Takes out Buchanan, the referee waving play on Michael Oliver. He's not had the greatest of opening 23 minutes here, Michael Oliver. He's calling things, giving yellow cards for things that he didn't give on one for one side, and gives them for another. And he's not giving free kicks for the same thing. He's just given a yellow card for as well, as Canada again looked to go long down the right-hand side. He certainly came through the ranks rather quickly as a free kick goes Morocco's way, deep inside their own territory, with Jonathan David committing a foul. And now Michael Oliver will call for the hydration break, and he rose quickly in the English refereeing pyramid. Did Michael Oliver. He was in the Premier League at age 25, 16 years ago now. The quality of officiating, though, in the top flight of English football has severely dropped over the years, particularly since VAR has come in. It's allowed lazy officiating more than anything. as they try and trust VAR to make the decision for them. And in the end, it doesn't really take away the controversy, it just moves who's to blame for it, because it still relies on subjectivity the majority of the time from a human. Whereas the offsides are a little bit more acceptable, as that is a very simple way to do it. Morocco, they've had an excellent tournament so far, finished second behind Brazil in the groups and goal difference after drawing with Brazil, beating Scotland and Haiti. The round of 32, we mentioned a pure Moroccan tournament theatre, 1-1 against the Netherlands. It's a Diop levelling late to send the Netherlands home. After that penalty shootout, 3-2 win. Bono save from Asensio, Somerville, the former Leeds man, in the shootout, while Saibari, Talbi and Rahimi all scored. Ainawi would love to make amends. He hit the bar. Hakimi struck the post. It had absolutely everything. Did that penalty shootout. Saibari, who's been one of the form players during the tournament with his 3 goals in 4 games, won't be playing any further in this game. If you are just joining us a little bit later, make sure you are watching the games through your local network provider. They'll bring you the pictures. We can bring you the sound. But Saibari had to come off with a hamstring injury. That may be his tournament over, even if they make it through to the next round. But it's been a very even affair so far in this game. The winner goes to face either Paraguay or France. France looking by far and away the best team in this tournament so far. They're looking unstoppable. Well, Paraguay did the unthinkable against Germany, so maybe they may be able to do it in the next round as well, or in this round as well. In the last 16, Paraguay face France, Brazil against Norway, Mexico, England, Portugal, Spain, which will be an absolute classic of a game. USA, Belgium, 2 very even sides. Argentina, Egypt. Argentina will be expected to come away with the result there, and Switzerland, Colombia. Switzerland winning their first game in the knockouts in the tournament, where we have seen so much history made for individual countries. Cape Verde holding Argentina in 90 minutes, holding Uruguay and Spain all in 90 minutes, and put up a wonderful attempt last night, taking Argentina to extra time, and Argentina coming through that one 3-2. Colombia then winning in the last game of the round of 32, 1-0 against Ghana, as we're back underway 27 minutes into this game after the hydration break. Other results obviously went through. Egypt coming through 4-2 against Australia on penalties after a 1-1 draw. It was a wonderful game, that one, to which I had the absolute pleasure of commentating on. Egypt ending the run of 4 straight penalty shootout defeats. Australia, who had the best record on penalties, any side that had played more than one in the competition throughout the history, couldn't quite match it, and there's questions down under about whether they should have relied on a centre-half to step up first and then an 18-year-old centre-half to take a decisive 4th penalty. Switzerland beat Algeria 2-0. Portugal beat Croatia 2-1 in a game that was full of controversy. Croatia having a late goal ruled out, which personally don't think it should have been, but Portugal have had plenty of decisions go their way. Colombia shouldn't have had a goal ruled out against them. Portugal should have had 2 red cards against DR Congo and didn't get 1, and obviously Ronaldo having his 3-game ban overturned. It comes out towards Rahimi, who tries to go for goal from 25 yards out, but doesn't quite make the good enough connection, as it just works its way kindly towards Kripal, down towards his right-hand side. But Canada making a bit of a meal of it on the edge of their own penalty area, just giving it away. One pass in towards Rahimi. And Morocco seem to have woken up since that hydration break, trying to just work it down the left-hand side, running into their own players. And the Canadians on the bench are in a bit of uproar about that decision from the referee, but it is going to be a Moroccan throw-in on this near side in an attacking position halfway inside the Canadian half. USA beat Bosnia 2-0, even though they were down to 10 men, and a couple of Americans were also asking for Donald Trump to pardon Balogun and his red card. I think it shows the knowledge of quite a lot of Americans that are getting involved in the World Cup, in this competition. It is nice of them to get involved, but sometimes it is rather amusing. Spain beat Austria 3-0. Belgium, wonderful comeback against Senegal 3-2. England against DR Congo 2-1. Mexico 2-0 against Ecuador. France 3-0 against Sweden. And then other wonderful results as well late on in further games, as a long throw comes from the near side for Canada, but it goes a free kick against them as the Figueroas just came in together with Hal inside the box, and he just gave a little bit of a push in the back on Mazraoui as well. Oh, with that 2-1 win against Ivory Coast was another one. Morocco with a penalty win against the Netherlands. Paraguay with the penalty win against Germany as well. Canada's South Africa win, and Brazil beating Japan in what was another wonderful contest. Actually run through of the round of 32 games. And the games that are coming up as well. This the first of the round of 16. Half an hour gone, a third of the way through this game. Morocco, who came into this as clear favourites, not quite showing that so far in this contest. But Canada just giving a throwing away halfway inside the Moroccan half, just couldn't quite get the connection on the near side from Buchanan, who has been trying to just work the ball across the pitch. They rely quite heavily on Eustachiou. Buchanan equally just trying to get hold of it and unsettle the Moroccans a little bit more, but it's Morocco on the ball. Over on the far side of the pitch, halfway inside their own half. Going to switch the play towards the left-hand side, trying to just probe the flanks as it goes down towards Mazraoui. Can't quite find the pass forward in his 50th appearance for the national team. He's a technically clean fullback and play under pressure as it's worked in towards the middle to Ainaoui. He has to come back in towards his own half to try and just offer a bit of space, but Canada keeping their shape ever so well. Back again in towards Diop. Sends it forward 5 yards in towards Ainaoui. Again moves it towards the right hand side towards Bouhaddi. In towards Hakimi, who playing inside the Canadian half. Just going to flick it around the corner looking for the run of Rahimi, but he goes into the back of the Canadian defender, and Jesse Marchu didn't have too much to try and protest about there, and neither did the Moroccan coach as well on the near side. Rahi just trying to get his side back up for it again. Alphonso Davies returned for Canada as a substitute in the last round after his hamstring concern kept him out for the group stages. There was a selection question for Jesse Marsh about whether he does start him or not, but he has kept him off the bench and entrusts the likes of Jonathan David to do the job up front. The 26-year-old is the top scorer for the country. He's already among the tournament scorers as well. Got a hat-trick against Qatar after being questioned inside the opening round of fixtures for Canada. Certainly replied in the next game as it's moved across the left-hand side. Di Figueroa is going to have to just scramble across to try and keep it in. Level the edge of his own penalty area, brings it back in towards Eustachiou, who will just move it back towards Maxime Crepau in the goal. The tournament number one through the run. Been brave off his line. He's multilingual as well. 2 clean sheets to his name. Sends it towards the right-hand side in towards Johnson, who runs into traffic and has to just put it out of play for a throw into Morocco. Got 11 and a half minutes to go inside the first half. It hasn't been the most entertaining of games, that is for sure. We've seen plenty of quality in the knockout stages, but this one's leaving a lot to be desired so far. Lahir hoping that he might be able to just open that up with Ahmed. Brings it back in towards Eustachiou. Sends it towards the right-hand side, looking towards Buchanan. Loses it out, though, towards Mazraoui. Flicked back in towards the box by Johnson, but Mazraoui reads it like a book, and with his left just hacks it out for a throw-in on this near side for the Canadians. And here in Houston, it's in another indoor air-conditioned stadium, which could matter after Morocco's 120 minutes in the heat of Monterrey against the Netherlands. It's sent down the right-hand side. Again, Mazraoui goes down, holding his head, trying to fool the referee, but he can't on that occasion. And it goes out for a corner kick. It was actually his own man who came in towards him, Hal. And Mazraoui went down, just holding the back of his head. As a wry smile as he realised that it was his own man. It had a coming together with him, and it goes out for another corner kick to Canada. Estaquial makes his way over for the 5th time in this first half. Can he put it? The crossing a little bit better than the ones he has done so far. The runners go towards the near post. It's flicked on towards the far side, but just about clear towards the edge of the area. Buchanan gets hold of the ball inside the box. Di Quirogas goes down inside the area, but he's adjudged to have committed the foul on Bouhaddi, who did ever so well to just get a slight touch ahead of the Canadian centre half, who's back in the side after being dropped for the South Africa game. Came off the bench in that one, started all 3 group games, and he's certainly getting his body about inside the box. In the first half, the man who was Canada's 2025 Young Player of the Year. And he's causing plenty of trouble inside the box, but Morocco handling it well. 0-0. The scoreline 35 minutes in. You can watch the game through your local TV provider while we bring you the sound. Buchanan picks the ball off Mazraoui and tries to stride down the right-hand side, but Mazraoui does ever so well just to recover the ball. Goes out for a throw into Canada, but he saved the opportunity for Buchanan to put in a cross in towards the box. Just picked the pocket 2 yards off the touchline, started to drive down the right-hand channel, and Mazraoui just steps in and gets a touch off the ball. He's a little bit, which maybe left a little bit on the shin of Buchanan, but there wasn't too much into that, and the linesman, who's right in front of it, waves that one away. Johnston comes across again for the long throw. This one goes high towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed out comfortably though by the Moroccan defence of Bouhaddi. Again down the right hand side with Johnson, loses out with an excellent tackle on the near side, falls again in towards Segur. Hasn't had too much to do. Johnson wins it back, but Mazraoui steps across and brings away the ball in towards Rahimi, but he gives the ball away again, and it's cheaply done as Mazraoui hits the deck once more, and he spent quite a lot of the opening 35-40 minutes of this first half trying to bring some tackles against the Canadians. If anything, he ran straight into Bombito, the maker of his own downfall for that one. As Saibari sits on the bench, and he looks remarkably sad, frustrated with how his tournament has potentially finished, as a ball is absolutely fizzed back by Hal in towards Bono. It's a wonderful first touch from the goalkeeper. He had no need or right really to send it back to the keeper. He said, "How's your touch?" and the keeper matched it ever so well. Hakimi trying to find the pass down the right hand side, but just runs into the brick wall of Ahmed, who just gets a foot onto it and out for a throw-in. Morocco trying to get themselves back in after a brief spell. Canada getting on top once more, but the free kick goes Morocco's way, and Bouhaddi is the man who wins the free kick after just getting in front of Segur in the middle of the pitch. But it's been a rather sloppy opening 45 minutes of this game so far. We've got 7 minutes to go before the end of that 45. It's back with Yassine Bono. The great thing, though, about these knockout rounds, we do have to either see a goal or we will get a penalty shootout. Sometimes when these games do go all the way through, is a rather rash push at the back from Rahimi, and Michael Oliver is going to have to come across before Laïa has a word with Hakimi. Hakimi just went straight across and gave him a real shove as he played the ball back to the keeper, Laïa. And there's a little bit of handbags just going on between the two players. It was a sensible touch back from Laïa, back in towards Kripau inside the goal, and Hakimi just came across and just gave Laïa a good old shove. in the back. He likes to do his things his own way, Hakimi. Sometimes the right thing, he never does. And on that occasion, it was a rather silly challenge, and the referee, Michael Oliver, has a decision to make, and personally, he should be going into the book, but I think he's going to put Laïr in the book for his reaction as well. He has actually sent Laïr away. Stacky out, also standing around the referee. Michael Oliver does have a yellow card out, and he will give it to Hakimi, and now will bring across Laïr for his reaction. A rather justified reaction from Laïr, in my opinion. But it did spark a little bit of afters from the rest of the team. It was just a long ball that went down the right-hand channel. In fact, Laïr didn't even send it back towards the keeper. It just went all the way through towards the keeper, and Hakimi just shoved him off the ball. Certainly a booking for Hakimi, and I'm not too sure why Michael Oliver has to book Laïr. He has every right to question the Moroccan captain of why he would make that challenge. It was unnecessary, provocative from the Moroccan right back. But he's probably got what he wanted, and that's putting a very sturdy left back of Richie Laïr under a bit more pressure. The 31-year-old wing-back needs to settle himself down as the ball bounces inside the Canadian half. It's taken out by Johnson, who then has his pocket pick, but good recovery challenge on this near side from Buchanan, but an excellent tackle goes in as well, and all of a sudden this game is starting to liven up as a free kick goes Canada's way 15 yards inside their own half, as El Khanous, who hasn't done much at all in this game, finally gets himself involved a little bit more, just holding on to the back of his opposite number and just shoves him to the ground as the game rolls on. The pressure, the stress starts to build. Michael Oliver, who gave a penalty away in his last game, he officiated the Norway-France game. Made it to Norway, which was saved by Magnan, the goalkeeper for France. He's kept his cards generally in his pocket, his competition. Just two he's issued so far in each game. And he has already issued 3 in his third inside 42 minutes. We've got 3 minutes to go, plus time added on at the end of the first half. I hope that that challenge does start to spark something in these two sides to create something. Canada have had the better of the momentum inside the game, but Morocco have had more of the passes, almost double the amount of passes that Canada have had, but they just haven't really done anything with it. The big chance falling to Oluwase, who should have passed it across towards Jonathan David. The only real point of note in this game so far, but one of these two sides find a breakthrough and an opening before the end of the first period. Morocco trying to hold on to the ball and be a little bit more patient with it. Moving across towards the right hand side, again towards Hakim. Back in towards Diop. Moves it towards his centre half partner of Hal. Again follows it through towards Mazraoui. Pulls it in towards Diaz, who just turns and tries to drive forward, and the referee again is going to pull it back as he just had his shirt pulled, and another yellow card out comes from Michael Oliver. And it was Bombito, the man, who just got himself in a muddle. Diaz turned Johnson ever so well. Sorry, it was Jonathan David, the man who goes into the referee's book, the second Canadian to go into the book, and Brahim Diaz, who was a picture after that penalty miss against Senegal in the AFCON final. Tried the Penenka on the most important of games. We saw Mo Salah do one yesterday. It wasn't the cleanest from Mo Salah, but he got away with it for Egypt. Not on that occasion for Brahim Diaz. Still trying to make amends for that mistake. What had the greatest of tournament so far. As the Moroccan number 10. Free kick taken and moved towards the far side, but Difugoroles matches it ever so well and just puts it out of play, getting there ahead of Rahimi. 60 seconds then to go before the end of the first half. Given away, and then a late challenge comes in over on the far side, this time on Ahmed. And the referee losing control, I think, of this game over the last couple of minutes. Some challenges just coming in from behind. And this time, it was Unai who lost the ball and then just leaves his leg in on Ahmed, trying to break away. You can see why he's put the challenge in. Well, Michael Oliver having to dish out plenty of cards to try and keep control of this contest. But it's what we wanted to see after 35 minutes of quite a bare bones affair. As a Moroccan coach looks on Jesse Marsh, doesn't really know what to do with himself, sat on the drinks cooler to the right hand side of the dugout, just rustling his hair, head to the ground. 6 minutes added on, it breaks clean from this near left hand side for Morocco to try and open up a bit of space. Pulled back in from El Kanous in towards Rahimi, down on the edge of the area. He goes down holding his leg. The referee this time waves play on, and Canada tried to come away with the ball. Jonathan David has a little bit of space in front of him. The pass can find him, but it just wasn't worked in towards the runner on the near side from Jonathan David. And Michael Oliver had a decision to make again on the edge of the box. It was a slight tap from Bombito on Rahimi, and I think if that was in the penalty area, VAR may have pulled that one back for a penalty. It was the slightest of touches, but it has the effect these days as another challenge goes in. This time it looked like the ball was won cleanly from Jonathan David, and the referee gives the free kick Morocco's way, 5, 6, 7 yards inside the Canadian half. It was Unai who wins the ball, and Jesse Marsh is furious on the near side, the American, as the tackle goes in almost on Bouhaddi, and Diop trying to get it back towards his goalkeeper, and just about does enough. 4 minutes to go then of stoppage time. The game really starting to liven up at the end of the first period of this game. It's what the game needed. Both of these two sides know that they have an opportunity that goes on in Canada, who are still not expected to win this game. If you look at odds, if you are a betting man, personally I'm not, as I'm not very good at it. Canada's still 3-1. Morocco were evens at the start of the game, and they're moving closer towards 2 than anything else. But those odds are always based on 90 minutes as a poor challenge goes in down the near right hand side, and once again Hal feels that slight touch and just flops himself to the deck with Segur, who really should have just stayed off him. Hal was already down before Segur came anywhere near it, and if he just waited and allowed the Moroccan centre half to go down, he may have been able to have pinched the ball, but it has been that sort of affair. Tackles are going in, players throwing themselves down. Morocco have had the majority of the possession, but Canada have had the better opportunity in this game so far. Sent down the left-hand side in towards Unai, who can't quite keep it in, and Canada will have a throw-in. 10 yards inside their own half on this near side. In Houston here, one of the most diverse cities in the United States. It's got a major immigrant and Diaspora population. He welcomes Canada and Morocco into Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas, and this is one of the biggest grounds as well in America, as it's cleared out by Morocco. So Difugoroles, who does ever so well just to run it all the way around Unai, but then he's passed towards his centre-half partner, and Bombito was left to be desired, but he did ever so well, Bombito, to pick the ball up. Plays it towards Eustachio down the left-hand side, whose pass can't quite find the man, and Bouhaddi comes away with it. Now the space for Morocco, if they can find the pass in towards the middle with Hakimi, driving forward, plays it in towards Brahim Diaz, tries to play it across, it's a little bit behind El Kanous, who has to just retreat a yard or two to get hold of it, and it allows the Canadian defence to get back. They'll pinch the ball back off inside the middle, and right at the end of the game, it's just sloppy between the two sides. They're trying to go end to end, but they can't even keep hold of the ball. But here come Morocco again. Less than 2 minutes to go before the end of the first 45 minutes. The first round of 16 in this three-host tournament. He's finally starting to pick up and be a little bit more. I was going to say interesting between the two sides, but it's always interesting when two sides are locked horns at 0-0. Especially two sides that are evenly matching each other in the contest. As it goes out for a throw-in 15 yards inside the Canadian half on the opposite side of the pitch to where we're currently sat. A few fans who've already seen enough here, and they're off to get their half-time libations, which the players will get their own in a moment or two. But it's back inside the Moroccan half with Hal Hal. Just pushes it again across towards his centre-half partner, towards Dia. They're trying to go predominantly down the side of Hakimi. And Diaz over on that far side of the pitch, and Diaz just comes in towards the middle, and then a challenge goes in on Difugodola's off the ball, and another yellow card comes in, and the free kick goes against Morocco, and it's El Khanous who goes into the referee's book, and this game really has a feel like a red card will come at some point in that second half. It's the 6th yellow card of the game, the 4th for a Moroccan player, and El Khanous just gave him a shove, played in towards the middle. A really late challenge on Difugodola's. He was nowhere near the ball, El Khanous. He hasn't really been near the ball inside the opening 45 minutes either. And one of his only his 2 contributions he's really made to the game is to get himself into the yellow card and the book, or onto the yellow card and into the book of Michael Oliver, the English referee. Eustachio over on the far side, and that will likely draw the end of the first half, and it does. It's 0-0 here in Houston between Canada and Morocco. A first half that really started to come alive towards the end as tempers have started to flare. It offers plenty more as this game goes on. The best chance came to Canada as Oliver Sey turned beautifully on the edge of the Moroccan box, and when he should have squared it across the top scorer Jonathan David, he instead tried to tuck it into the bottom left-hand corner. The keeper Bono outstretching his left leg to deny Oliver Sey his first goal of the competition, and that was the best opportunity. There wasn't really too much that was happening until around about the 40th minute, when all of a sudden tackles started to fly in and the referee started to dish yellow cards 5 in 5 minutes. But that is all she wrote for the first half. It's 0-0 between these two sides, and all to play for in the second half. Canada 0, Morocco 0. Welcome back all to the second half here in Houston of the first round of 16 game at the Worlds. You're listening to an independent off-tube commentary of this game, and you can watch the pictures through your local network provider. It doesn't like any changes for either side at half time, so we'll run you through the teams in a moment or two while we just double check that there are no surprise changes going to be made, and it doesn't look like there will be. Michael Oliver is back out. Hopefully he can get a little bit more control of this game after that brief spell at the end of the first half, which saw 5 yellow cards in the space of 5 minutes. And it is going to be Morocco who get us back underway at the start of the second half in that all-white strip going from left to right. Canada in their all-black going, you will have surmised, from right to left. And no changes for either team from the sides that ended the first half, with Corapao in goal for Canada, a back four of Johnson, Di Fugoroles, Bombito and Lahier, who's on a booking. Buchanan, Segur, Eustachio out, the captain, and Ahmed are the midfield four. David's on a booking, and Oluwase are the two up front for Canada. For Morocco, Bono, Hakimi on a booking, and captain Diop. Al-Hal also on a booking, and Mazraoui the back four. Bouadi, Ainaoui are the two sitting just in front, with Diaz, Unahi and El Kounes, the latter two both on a yellow card, and Rahimi, who came on in the first half from a forced change after Saibari. Looks like he's pulled his hamstring and his tournament could well be over. With a limited time left, just 15 days left of the competition until the final 2 weeks on Sundays. Hakimi trying to stride down the right-hand side. A good intercepted tackle by Lahier, but he can't keep it in as it goes out for an early throw inside the second half to the Moroccans, who have a lovely history over the last two competitions with this tournament. Canada, it's their breakthrough more than anything. Before this tournament, they'd never won a men's game at the Worlds. The run has changed the scale of the programme in real time. They made their first appearance in 1986, the second in 2022, which brought a return in Alphonso Davies' first Canadian goal at the Worlds as well. And 2026 has delivered that breakthrough points, the win, knockout progress as well for Morocco. They're the first African and Arab side to reach a semi-final. And that was in 2022. Also the first African side to win a group in 1986. But here come Canada on the edge of the area towards the left-hand side to Oluwase, who can't quite return the turn, the pass in towards Jonathan David, but has won a corner kick. And Eustachio is questioning the referee for a potential foul just inside the penalty area. It might be wishful thinking more than anything else. It was a good run and a slight pull back, and then a nice little touch around the corner. Oluwase wasn't in offside position as the ball went out for the corner kick. So if there is a goal here, surely that will be ruled out unless it does go back. It doesn't go back any further than the start of the set piece. But 3 minutes gone inside the second half. Canada trying to start the second as they started the first. 0-0 was the scoreline from that first half, but Canada certainly had the better chances. Eustachio goes short, retrieves the pass back again and sends it in towards the middle to Ahmed. A little bit more central towards Lahier. Moves it across the right and tries to then find the pass and the near side of the 6-yard box to Di Fugoroles, who just couldn't quite get a light enough touch on and just sends it over the top of Bono's crossbar away to our left-hand side. And here come Morocco again down the right-hand side, and Di Fugoroles now goes in with a challenge, and it'll be the first yellow card of the second half. Just came across his man, racing down the right. Di Fugoroles, who's been across the pitch. The young 20-year-old plays at Fulham. Was on with Dender on loan and just taken out Rahimi, who just got there ahead of him as he tried to scramble across and win the ball. Rahimi certainly feels the challenge after that. The Al Ain man in his 42nd appearance for his country. And we immediately have another yellow card, and Hakimi stands over this one. 10 yards off the right-hand side of the Canadian penalty area, level just in front of level with the penalty spot. Just one in the wall of Ahmed. Hakimi stands over it, lays it towards the edge of the penalty area, and it's tucked away. And Morocco have the lead. And it's Unahi who strikes for Morocco. They have the breakthrough, and the memory of 2022 is starting to feel like a foundation rather than a fairy tale. The Atlas Lions roar again, and it's a beautifully played set piece. Hakimi from the right-hand side, just laying it across the edge of the area. On came Unahi, completely unmarked, had his time to pick his spot, and he picks it beautifully into the bottom left-hand corner of Maxime Crépal's goal. And Morocco have the start to the second half that they would have dreamed of. And it's Canada 0, Morocco 1. And it's a very, very tidy finish. A lovely ball across it. For a moment didn't look like it had the legs, but on came to it was Unahi from the Hakimi set piece. And Morocco have the lead. They seem to do it time and time and time again in this competition. Over the last two iterations, and Mohamed Ouabi, who wants Morocco to create what he's called organised chaos, speed, movement, technical overloads. Well, they didn't need much chaos there. Simplicity and structure and a well-worked set piece is what has given Morocco the lead in this all-important round of 16 game. They could have a rematch with France in the next round if they were to come through it. They were beaten in the semi-final by the French 4 years ago. Now they would love to make amends in the quarter-final of this competition. They've still got 40 minutes to see this game out, and Canada have got 40 minutes to try and find a leveller at least. Eustachio out in towards David, who's taken out off the ball. Referee allows play to continue. Down to Laye, who just slips in front, does ever so well to get back to his feet and keep hold of it. Back to Difugo, who was the man who committed the challenge that gave the free kick moments ago. Down the right-hand side come Canada, striding in towards the area, getting his feet all messed up. Over on that far side was Ahmed. Well, Jonathan David, now striding down the right-hand side is Hakimi, who's got plenty of space to run into the PSG man. He's full of experience, is the captain. Just shrugs off the ball, then goes down to the edge of the area. Looked to be a free kick. He's furious with the referee, Michael Oliver, who was right next to it. He was just pushed off the ball. The Canadian defence didn't really try and win the ball off him. He pulled it back from the right across to the left-hand side to try and open up the angle. And he's still protesting towards Michael Oliver in the middle of the park, with 8 minutes gone inside the second half. In fact, Michael Oliver has absolutely got that decision spot on the replay from where we're sat high in the stand, or where we are high in the stand. It looked like he'd been taken out off the ball. Taken out while he was on the ball, but in fact he stood on the ball and slipped. And Michael Oliver in the right place at the right time, making a perfect decision on that occasion. And Hakimi had us all fooled for a moment. Well, Morocco lead by a goal to nil. Jesse Marsh now marches up and down his technical area before taking a seat. Yet to make a change, but at the start of this second half, it's Morocco who are trying to go for the kill and double their advantage. Inside the centre circle with the goal scorer, Unahi. Goes back towards Halhal. Moved across the right-hand side in towards Diop and finds Hakimi with the pass once again. Closed down quickly, though, by Ahmed, and has to retreat back to Diop on the edge of their own penalty area here. Morocco, but they are being patient with it. They're waiting for Canada to come on to them now more than anything else. When they tried to stride forward themselves in the first half, they invited the pressure and they ran straight into it. And now they're just waiting for Canada, allowing them the space to open up before finding the passer. Lucky pass in from Diop, who then loses out towards Laïr. Down the left-hand side, in towards Oluwaseyi. Pulls it back in towards the penalty spot, but good recovery work from Bouhaddi, who lost it initially on this near side. Across comes Brahim Diaz, now striding forward. It's 4-on-3 for Morocco. Sends it down the right in towards Rahimi. Tries to pull it back across, but good work again at the back, this time from Bombito, just to get himself back and get his body in the way of it. Two were coming into the box. One was Brahim Diaz, the other was El Kounes from the far side of the pitch. But across came Bombito to put it out for a corner kick right in front of the horde of Canadians behind the goal who were trying to get behind their team. The entire stadium is filled with red. Neither side playing in red. Both sides are known for it. As Hakimi stands over the corner kick down the right-hand side that Morocco are attacking. 6 inside the box, plays it towards the front post, and that's poor from a man of his calibre. Gets lucky as it comes back to him, sends it back first time left-footed, floats onto the far side of the box, equally poor, and then goes out for a goal kick after a slip from Hal, who tried to just, again, see if the referee was willing to make a decision. But 10 minutes into this second half, it's Morocco who are controlling it, and Jesse Marsh can't even look towards the pitch. He's just shaking his head deep down in front of us in the dugout. As Canada tried to come away with the ball, what he said at half-time certainly hasn't had an effect. And that chance that went begging for Oluwaseyi inside the first half, when he should have squared it across to Jonathan David, is going to have, at the moment, a real impact on the tournament for both of these two sides. The next game that either of these two sides will play is against either Paraguay or against France. The next round will all be played between the 9th and the 12th of July, before the semi-finals on the 14th and 15th, and the final on the 19th, the day after the third place playoff on the Saturday. I always think the final and the third place playoff should be played on the same day. Give the fans a full day of it. The third place playoff, nobody's really too interested in. It doesn't have much implication even to the two sides that are in it. They don't want to get injured at all at that stage of the competition, when you're trying to find a bronze medal, if you will. Morocco were in that game 4 years ago in Qatar, losing out to Croatia. And it still doesn't take away from the fact that the first African team to make a semi-final. Ghana were the ones who seemed to get the closest, alongside South Korea, who were the first in 2002 to make the quarterfinals on their own patch. And getting down the left-hand side over the top is Ahmed, and plays it off Bouhaddi and wins a corner kick to Canada, who are just trying to find a way back into this and show some spirit and show a few signs of life and a bit of resilience. They don't quite have the speed in the areas that matter at times in this game, Canada, particularly against Hakimi down the left-hand side, but Ahmed on that occasion did ever so well. Across comes Eustachiou with the corner kick. 58 minutes on the clock here in Houston, in the air-conditioned stadium. Sends it towards the far side of the penalty area, sent back across in towards the 6-yard box, but from Difugodolas, but only in towards Mazraoui. That's in front of him, and it's half cleared out for a throw on the far side of the pitch again to Canada, who are just trying to turn up the noise to 11 inside the ground. Across comes Johnson with that long throw to take it. Level with the 6-yard box on the far side of the pitch. There's 6, 7, 8 now inside the penalty area for Canada. They really have to just start to try and put some pressure on Bono in the goal. Comes back out to Eustachiou, who just knocks it back towards Johnson, who took the throw over on the far side. Bounces once in front of him. His return pass to Eustachiou's a poor one, and he just tried to float it over the top to the runner that came in, which was Segur, but couldn't quite find the pass. But Canada will have another throw in a little bit further back on this occasion. Johnson takes on Stakiao takes it quickly and stops any real attack by doing that, as they have to go all the way back towards their goalkeeper. 60 minutes on the clock here as a man goes down inside the penalty area. The Canadians are screaming for a tackle. The linesman's flag's got up over on the far side, but it certainly will be checked. Mazraoui once again goes down, holding a part of his body. I think he's held every single part of his body on the deck during this game, Mazraoui. He certainly wasn't the man that was tackled inside the box. He was the man committing the foul, if anything, over on the far side. Buchanan is very, very close inside the area. He then was taken out by Hal. A push in the back everywhere else across the pitch. That's been given as a free kick throughout this game. The question is now, surely, is the man offside? Was Buchanan offside? And I think the decision has been Mazraoui, who came across, lost the header out to Johnson, went down holding his left arm. And the decision has been that it will be an offside. Surely that was checked. There was nothing in the ground to say that it went to VAR. But if he was onside there, Buchanan, that is a penalty every day of the week. Canada lose the ball inside the middle rather cheaply. Morocco in turn give it straight back towards the Canadian defenders, and Laïa goes back towards the keepers with a little bit of pressure from the on-rushing Rahimi. The game starting to intensify a little bit more. You can make sure to watch the game through your local network providers who'll provide you the pictures. Well, I provide you with the sound of the game. A wonderful touch to the right-hand side from Bombito just to open up the space, but doesn't quite have the pace and has to bring it back towards Di Figueroles, just on the edge of the D of his own penalty area. Ships it to the left-hand side in towards Segur. Drives into the centre circle and just holds on to it as he can't find too many options going forward. De Figueroles lays it across towards Bombito. Plays it in towards the middle, but it's a bit of a fierce pass looking for Oluwase, and it wasn't the greatest of passes. It goes all the way through towards Bono in the goal. Takes it quickly and moves it towards the right-hand side in towards Hakimi. Trying to stride towards the halfway line under plenty of pressure. Again from Laïa, who wins the ball back and looks to have won it again off the midfielder Bouadi, but the referee Michael Oliver once again gives the free kick Morocco's way. Laïa just held on to him, got a hand around him. It is a free kick more than anything. I don't think you have too many complaints with that, although he is certainly going to try. And that will be the last action from Bouadi, as Morocco will blink first in this second half. Amrabat and Telby will be the two to come on. And Bouadi and El Kounes will make their way off. And Talbi, the wide man, will move across towards the left-hand side, and Amrabat will occupy the middle, where Bouadi was taking his spot. And Oluwase makes his way off as well for Canada. There's Larin, who scored 2 goals in the opening 2 games of the competition, makes his way on. So changes all round and an instant reply from Jesse Marsh. But here comes Rahimi down the right-hand side of the penalty area. Tries to then find the pass towards Brahim Diaz, but it's way too far behind him, and he has to scramble back and pick it up. And that was a good opportunity. Really, if the pass could have been found, he would have been one-on-one with Bombito over on the far side of the pitch. But it's still Morocco with the ball. Striding down the left-hand side, taking on the overlap. Johnson trying to get across, as is Buchanan. Excellent work, though, from Mazraoui to put the ball in towards the areas. Bounces once in front of Di Figueroles, who does just about enough to get a shin onto it to half clear the ball. Brahim Diaz with a lovely bit of skill, then a back heel to try and return the pass to him, then just hacked away into the Moroccan half and picked up by Amrabat. In his 77th appearance for the 29-year-old Real Betis man, known as the Gladiator. A physical insurance if Morocco need to try and close the space and make the game a little bit ugly. But one of the players that can make it a little bit exciting is Brahim Diaz. Down the right-hand side is passed, though, in towards the boxes, deflected out towards the edge of the area and only half cleared. Picked up nicely, though, by Ahmed, who's trying to turn his man and then takes a late challenge in, and the referee gives the free kick Morocco's way. Talby, the other man that made his way on, the Sunderland 21-year-old, his 9th appearance, the Belgian-born winger. He scored in the shootout against the Dutch. He's also played for Club Brugge in the Champions League as well. And Tani El-Wessay, the Villarreal man, just 2 goals for him. But the national team made his way off for Kyle Larin, the Southampton front man. 31-year-old, 9 goals to his name in the Championship this season. Looking for his 3rd in the competition. He was the cult hero in the 2022 qualifying. He was revived at Southampton. Still Canada's most natural first-time finisher. 32 goals now for him in 93 appearances. This is his 94th for Kyle Larin. As Morocco try to make their way forward, a bit of a coming together as well. Appeals looking all around from the Moroccans. They tried to look to the referee, then they looked towards the touchline. A bit of a coming together, much more of a 50-50 than anything else, and that's how Michael Oliver saw it as well. 25 minutes to go then for Canada to find a leveller, and for Morocco to reach back-to-back quarter-finals in this competition. On the left-hand side with Ahmed. What a man to be to try and take on this near side. With a little bit of skill, drives it towards the left, takes on Brahim Diaz, sends it in towards Laye, who looked to be offside, and the linesman's flag once again goes up over on the far side, and it's what Canada have done a number of times in this second half. They've just been a little bit lazy in terms of their positioning in the attacking final third of the pitch. He didn't need to be offside there, Laye. Ahmed was doing the hard work and taking on his man. But so far, the difference has been that Azzedine Ounani goal. Wadi, the Lille man, made his way off moments ago, as did El Kounes, the man who's just signed for Stuttgart as well. He didn't have too much to do, El Kounes, but he is one of the players that's on a booking that's made their way off. There's still 4 on the pitch for Morocco, and 3 as well for Canada, as it's half cleared by Bono, halfway inside his own half, falls towards the edge of the penalty area, looking for Eustachian. He's come back towards the keeper, and Bono had to come out for it. He got there first. The referee gives a yellow card to Larin. He was entitled to go for the challenge. Was the man who's just come on to the pitch. Bono got there first and got his foot through it. But Kyle Larin certainly was entitled to go for it. It was a hospital ball from Hakimi back towards his goalkeeper. He put him under real trouble and real pressure. And Kyle Larin had every intent to try and win the ball. And he just came in a little late. I don't think he's really made a touch on the keeper there. And I think that's a little bit hasty from Michael Oliver. If anything, there was a slight arm on the waist as he went through. And we have the hydration break, but I think Michael Oliver, who's been really hasty in this game, has just been a little bit hastier there as well. As we go to the second hydration break, ad break if you are in America. Thankfully, it isn't something that's going to come into the European competitions in 2 years' time. When Canada came into this tournament, they qualified as co-host. Their tournament test really came in the competition itself. They've been waiting for this moment for 16 years since it was announced that they were going to be co-hosts. Morocco came in as one of Africa's standard setters. The 2022 legacy, the depth of the European-based squad, making them a genuine top-end threat rather than just an underdog story like so many African teams of the past. There is a huge tactical contrast between the two sides as well. Canada like the intensity, they like to run, they like to be direct going forward, which we've seen during this game. Morocco, they try to have that technical control, bit of half-space rotation, sudden acceleration through Hakimi, Brahim, Ounahi and Sabari as well. And in this game, it is Morocco who have the lead, and when we come back, we'll only have about 19-20 minutes to go of this game. Both sides have plenty of players that are born outside the country, particularly Morocco. 19 of their 26-man squad for the competition were born outside of the country they represent. For Canada, it's 7. And including the Moroccan who was born, the goalkeeper Yassine Bono, born here in, or born not here, not here in Houston, but born in Canada. Playing against the nation of his birth. Raised, though, in Casablanca. The Al Hilal man. Still just taking a little bit of a libation in. Two completely different types of countries as well. Canada, the world's second largest country by land area. Its football identity has shifted fast from log absences, underdog qualification stories, to a group led by Bayern, Juventus, Porto and major MLS European figures. Whilst Morocco sits at the northwestern edge of Africa, with Atlantic and Mediterranean coastlines and a football culture split between huge domestic clubs and deep European diaspora pipelines as well. And in this city that has an NFL scale space age history through the NASA that is nearby here, and a major football audience when international games come to Texas, we are in for a treat. And I did, when I was in Florida, actually saw the Artemis 2 space launch, which was actually one of the best days. Me and the wife will always say it was better than the wedding day, which was still a good day. We will add, as we're back underway in the final 19 minutes of this game. I won't mention too much about that, but here in Houston is where NASA has the space station. At Everline of Houston, we have a problem. Right now it's Jesse Marsh that has the problem for Canada, with time running out, trying to find a way back in. They scored late on in the 92nd minute against South Africa in the round of 32 10 days ago. Morocco, who were under plenty of pressure against Netherlands, who were one of their sides as the game went on, were being favoured to potentially go on and win it, particularly after that group stage hammering of Sweden, who in turn had already beaten Tunisia 5-1 themselves. Well, Morocco can do it against big European teams. We've seen it before, we've seen it again, and now they're doing it against Canada here. 18 minutes to play. Pass down the right-hand side inside their own half for Morocco, and they'll just win a throw-in. Lalaye trying to get on with it quickly, and he tries to take the throw-in himself, but the referee, Michael Oliver, has pointed it to go the other way instead. Lee Fugorella just comes across and takes out his man, but Michael Oliver again just bringing it back and slowing the game down. And when we've had a competition that's been tried to be sped up by referees, Michael Oliver's doing his best to try and slow the speed of this game down himself. There's a long ball, goes higher than Bob Marley down the right-hand side for Morocco, and out of play in Canada in turn. Really sloppy. The ball, in fact, Michael Oliver says never even came into play, and that is just the nerves of this game, the intensity, the pressure of being in this moment for a side like Canada. They've never been here before. They've never got out of the groups. Before this tournament, they'd never won a game in the Worlds. Make sure you're watching the final 17 minutes through your local broadcaster. I'll bring you all the noise from the ground. The Canadians and the fans in the stands trying to lend a hand. Bit of Dr. Zeus for you there almost. Trying to lend a hand to the team and pick them up a little bit. As Morocco slow the game down themselves over on the far side of the pitch. Mazraoui with the throw-in. The 28-year-old being counted down by the English referee. Sends it down the left-hand channel looking for the run of Rahimi, but he just runs into a bit of traffic, and Canada go back towards their goalkeeper in Crepau, who sends it towards the halfway line. Larin loses out on the header, but it's picked up the second ball by Estaquiao, who just sends it more in hope than expectation forward, looking for a runner. But it's good defensive play from Hal to just knock it back towards his goalkeeper, who just plucks it out of the sky. The meat and drink for the keeper of his quality. He made a fine save in the first half from the chance from Oluwase. A huge chance, in fact, for Canada, who win the ball back again with Larry. Sends it towards 5 yards off the edge of the penalty area, but they're forced back halfway inside the Moroccan half, who are now putting plenty of pressure on these Canadians. They had to run for 120 minutes against the Netherlands, but it doesn't look like they're tired at all. After another 75 minutes, the Moroccan coach, Mohamedou Abi, did explain that his side certainly weren't going to let up regardless of playing that extra time in that last game, and they are running this Canadian team into the ground. But Canada have a throw-in level with the edge of the Moroccan penalty area, and Johnston will come across again to try and get the long throw, the Celtic 27-year-old. He gives Canada a bit of bite over on that far right-hand side, but now he's trying to launch one in to the edge of the 6-yard box, but it's met by Mazraoui, as many of them have been in this game. Whip back in towards the box, though, from the far side. Early crossings dealt with by the keeper in the first instance, so cleared back out towards Ahmed, who just tries to loft it back centrally in towards the box, but Morocco just about clear it out towards Eustachiou. Calls for a handball into Eustachiou, is taken out on the edge of the area, and the referee has pointed down, and I think he's pointed for a free kick right on the edge of the area. Eustachiou says it looks like it's going to be a penalty. I think the referee may have got it right. There was certainly a handball on the edge of the box, and then he's taken out as well at Eustachiou. It was a lazy challenge from Amrabat, the man who came on. He certainly handballed it. But then where did the challenge take place? That is the ultimate question here for Canada and for Morocco. The Canadian captain, the heartbeat and life and organiser of this side, in his 61st appearance, got his 5th goal for the national team in the last game. There's questions being asked. Moroccans trying to already get in the face of the Canadians on the edge of the box. The goal scorer now is one of them. Hakimi is another. As Canada have 5 players surrounding the box. Di Fugardol is trying to get the Canadians behind the goal. Up for this a little bit more. I don't think I've seen this many players in a wall for a side in this competition so far. It looks to be 7-man wall for Morocco as Jonathan David stands over it. The 2 remaining are Jonathan David and Ahmed. It's central. It couldn't be any more central. There's 7 in the wall for Morocco to the left-hand side. There's 3 in the wall for Canada to the right, trying to put off the keeper. They reduce it down to 5 as 1 is laying down and Talby behind it. As Jonathan David steps up, puts it over the wall and over the top of the bar as well, and it never ever looked like that was going to trouble the goalkeeper. The keeper was struggling to see it as Jonathan David stepped up. He nonchalantly just tried to lift it over more than anything else and put it into the space to the right-hand side of the keeper. He had the height, but he didn't have the dip. And he's going to have to do better than that from there if they want to find a way back in, as Canada make a couple more changes as well. Ahmed and Laïr on the left-hand side, both of them make their way off, and Promise David will make his way on. The Union Saint-Gilloise man, with 19 goals domestically this season. He's 6'5". He's a fan favourite. He won the title with Union Saint-Gilloise as well, and he offers a bit of physical threat down the right-hand side, and he goes for goal and forced a fine save from Bono just to put it around his own post. It's excellent work. This time it was Buchanan over on the far side. He was found by David, and he just tried to feed it into the bottom right corner of the goal and forcing Bono into a save. Ali Ahmed was one that came off. The failed English non-league trial man, now playing in a major tournament. The Norwich City wide front man will play no further part. Long ball sent towards the far side of the box again. Knocked back from Promise David, but over the top of the bar again. And the referee, Michael Oliver, pulls it back and says he fouled in the motion anyway on Mazraoui, who once again is occupying the deck. They've spent more time grazing the grass than most farm animals do on a day-to-day basis. But he's certainly doing the job. Down that left-hand side, Scheffelberg was the other man that came on for Canada. He came on in their opening group game that finished in a draw. And they came up against Bosnia and Herzegovina. They had to come from behind in that game late on. Larin scored with 12 minutes to go. We're already past that point of this game, as Canada have another free kick 10 yards from the far touchline. Morocco trying to keep them away from the edge of the box. It's played down towards the right hand side, in towards David, who's trying to turn his man. Tries to feed it back towards the free kick taker, Eustachiou, but it's not the best of balls in. And now Schaffelberg has to retreat back towards the halfway line, as does Sigurd as well, to pick up the ball. Now back on it just inside the Moroccan half. 9 minutes to go of this game. Can Canada find a way back in to send this to extra time? They've given it away though, and now it's 4-on-2 in Morocco's favour. It's slow for Morocco. It's played to the right hand side into Diaz. He can finish his game off here. He pulls it back and he's tucked away, and Morocco have doubled their advantage. And it's the man of the game, Ounahi, who scores for Morocco. And they look like they've won it late. Another knockout night leaning their way when the margins were at their thinnest. And the Atlas Lions continue to roar and have liftoff here in Houston. Morocco eyeing up France and Paraguay. Canada gave it their all at one end, undone by a counter-attack at the other. And that's what Morocco can add on this stage. It was a well-timed passing. It was slow. It was methodical from Ainaoui trying to break forward. He fed it in towards Brahim Diaz on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Unselfishly pulled it back in towards the middle. And Ounahi gives his side a goal. The Girona man, who only scored 2 goals domestically this season, has added his 11th in his 54th appearance. He's known as the Bee, and he'll be absolutely buzzing with that one. It was a lovely finish. Again, a sweeping strike, this time into the top left corner of Kripal's goal. And all the keeper could do was flail to his right-hand side. And Ounahi has looked to all but win it now for Morocco in the round of 16 as they go for back-to-back quarter-finals. As Canada will try and just send it long again. They've got 7 minutes plus likely 6 added on at the end of this game. They would have free kick 10 yards inside their own half, just hugging the near touchline. But Ounahi is looking like the man of the moment for Morocco. He's not had too many moments like this for the national side, as Canada tried to go for the strike with Jonathan David once again. Blocked and taken a deflection inside the box. Cleared back out, but only as far as him. Down the left-hand side it goes way towards Schaffelberg, but he tries to go for goal from the tight angle under pressure on the left-hand side. And it's comfortable for the goalkeeper. It was straight at him. Morocco had to go to penalties in their last round. looking like they're going to do it inside 90 minutes instead. Schaffelberg, halfway inside his own half. Is there another roll with the dice here for Canada? Is there another twist in the tail of this tournament? It doesn't feel like it, but Canada as hosts could be the first hosts out, as the ball's just floating in towards the box, and it's comfortable for the keeper, who sends it out quickly. Now Morocco trying to go for the kill. Unahi, who's on a hat-trick, striding down the right-hand side, floats it towards the far side. The header comes in, it's off the bar and off the line. Michael Oliver looks at his watch. Rahimi with the header. He looked like he made it straight just offside. It hasn't been given as a goal. It rattled off the underside of the bar as Morocco go for the killer blow. Here come Canada once again up the other end. The ball in towards the box. It's dealt with and out for a corner kick to Canada. And it's end to end with 5 minutes to play. But it was a lovely ball for Unai, who was unselfish with the cross. It was an excellently timed run from Rahimi, who did stay onside. And his header came off and bounced a yard from the goal line. As Morocco almost saw the end of it. Down the left-hand side from Schaffelberg once again. His cross is a poor one and comes back out towards Jonathan David, trying to open up the angle. Back heel down the left-hand side. As it's crossed again in by Schaffelberg. Once again, it's not the best. A karate kick sent forward by Seeger again. Not really eyeing up a play, but it's fallen over on the far side towards Promise David. Lays it off towards Eustaquia. Back on the ball once more. They're running out of options late on here, Canada. They're just trying to get the ball in towards the box, but there's no one really there, and a challenge comes in halfway inside the Moroccan half, and it'll be a free kick. As Jonathan David just turned his man on the ball and went down to the ground, and now Morocco will bring on their final two changes to slow this game down. El Mourabet and Mawin Sadain will make their way on. Mawin Sadain, who's without a club at the moment, will make his way on. And off comes Issa Diop, the hero from the last game, the Fulham centre-back. As Canada also make two changes as well, with Segur making his way off. Diop also made his way off for Morocco as well. So 4 changes in quick succession for both sides there as it's sent in towards the box quickly. I'll run you through those changes again in just a moment. Sadain came on for Diop, and El Mourabet came on for the goal scorer Unahi, who's on a booking and won't want to get another to potentially miss a game later down the line in this competition, as they are likely going to go through now. For Canada, they made 2 changes as well. Segur was the man to make his way off. Well, Thomas Davis is just currently down. It was Buchanan and Segur who came off for Nelson and Osorio, as they just go and try and find something late in this game. Buchanan, who really caused plenty of problems inside that first half for Morocco, makes his way off. Osorio comes on, the Toronto FC man, his 93rd appearance for the national team, age 34. This will be his last game at this major competition for him. He's a one-man club, eyeing up his 100th appearance. He's got the know-how, and I'm sure he knows how important this game could have been for Canada, but it just wasn't to be. Jayden Nelson, the Austin FC man, the final man to come on for his 16th appearance for the 23-year-old. He hasn't scored domestically this season. He has a wonderful story, though. He's a cancer survivor. He's an explosive winger. He's the symbol of resilience. And it's something Canada need in the dying moments of this game. a bit of resilience with 60 seconds plus stoppage time to go. Morocco lead by 2-0. They could have a rematch against France. 1 round earlier than 4 years ago. Inside the centre circle, handball goes against Morocco. And Canada just going to get everybody forward. It has to go. We saw Belgium score 2 late goals against Senegal to take it to extra time. In the 86th and 89th minute, long ball sent in towards the box, knocked back down, shot comes in, deflected back out and then hacked away by the Moroccan defence. Michael Oliver waves away any protest from Morocco for a potential foul. Kripal comes well outside of his box to pick up the ball. Eustachiou, now the last man on the pitch for Canada, is trying to create something. Running though, this side down. Here's El Mourabet, sent towards the edge of the area, bounces in front of Promise Davis, who can't get hold of the ball. As Canada have the ball once more, 8 minutes have been added on. We've seen plenty happen in football inside 8 minutes. Canada need a miracle here in Houston. They need to find a way back in. Cross comes in towards the box, chested down nicely, but calls on a handball. And Larin just took it down with the control of his right forearm. And that slows the game down in Morocco's favour. Or in fact, it was a header that came off the centre half that made his way on Sardane into the right arm of Kyle Larin. There's 1 minute has been wasted of 7 at the end of this contest. It took plenty of time to get going, but this second half really had the feel of a tournament knockout game. As Rahimi tries to keep the ball in, and he has kept the ball in beautifully on the near corner, then goes in with a tackle on Osorio, who wins the free kick. As Michael Oliver races over, wags his finger at Rahimi, who did really well under pressure from 3 Canadians to keep it in as they're trying to see the ball out. The Moroccans on the side, they're waiting. They're starting to smile a little bit more as time goes on. They're going to be in another quarter-final at this competition 4 years after doing it for the first time. Second time, sorry. As the tackle goes on the edge of the area against Jonathan David, but the referee waves it away on that occasion. They're trying to play for it now, Canada. They win the ball back, though, on this near side with a lazy pass towards Eustachiou, gives it away, but just cleared out of touch. 6 minutes to go. Jesse Marsh is trying to get the Canadians back on. He's given Canada some history in this competition. They won their first ever game. They won their first ever knockout game. They got to the first ever knockout round. They can certainly be proud of their tournament, this Canadian side. But it looks like it's going to end here. They win a corner kick late on the near left-hand side. Jaden Nelson, the man to win it. Eustachiou comes across to take it, goes short instead, looking for Staffelberg on his left, crossing it towards the box. The keeper comes in towards the area as well. I didn't see Kripal racing in towards the box. He came from deep, trying to challenge the goalkeeper, and gives a free kick away with 5 minutes to go. And that's what we love to see in a game like this. The keeper charging in, putting his body on the line at the far post. And he took out the keeper and a defender for good measure as well. And now has to race back. To his own penalty area. And he looks absolutely knackered away to the right-hand side. Canada, across the entire game, have had more momentum. They've had the better chance inside the first half to open up the scoring. But Morocco have taken their 2 big chances in this game. They've had 5 more shots, Canada, but they've only forced the keeper into 1 save, and that was from Staffelberg from the tight angle. As Kripal comes out and under pressure, has to just put it out of play over on the far side, and with 4 minutes to go, That's the last thing that Canadians in the stands wanted to see. The Moroccans now, they're starting to celebrate in the stands, and why not? 4 minutes is still a long time in a football game. The clock winding down on the fingers of Michael Oliver's hands. And I'm pretty sure it should have gone the other way, that throw in. They were being lazy with it, and it has gone Canada's way. Morocco quite happy just to allow that extra time to go down rather than have the ball in play, and can't see why you would disagree with it. Schaffelberg just moving towards the left corner of the penalty area. 2 for company, tries to cross the ball in towards the box, takes a deflection off Hakimi on the way through, and another corner kick with just over 3 minutes to play now. The 2 goals from Unahi. Could that be the difference? Comes back in again for Schaffelberg. The keeper comes in, this time over the top of his head from Kripal. Is he going to stay up for the long throw over on the far side? He's racing back to the halfway line just in case. He may as well stay up. You either pull one back or you go 3-0 down at this point of the contest. There's no point in doing anything in half measures. The throw goes in, back towards the middle of the park with Schaffelberg. Space opens up, can't quite sit down for him. Takes on his right, wins a free kick. 6 yards off the edge of the penalty area. Rahimi just taking out Schaffelberg, who tried to shuffle it towards his right hand side. He tried to quickly race towards the left of the penalty area, but they're going to have to get on it quickly. Morocco are going to try and slow this down as much as they can by not engaging with Michael Oliver. He's trying to get them back behind the line quickly. The 4 in the wall, not really obliging, whilst also trying to help out Bono in the goal. Stop any opportunity. Eustachiou stands over his way as Jayden Nelson. Nelson's looking towards the right, lays it off towards Eustachiou, goes for goal, takes deflection towards Schaffelberg on the rest, flicks all the way through. That corridor uncertainty still inside the box and over the top and out for a goal kick. And a cry from Bono of pure delight as he saw that go out of play for a goal kick. It's going to be Morocco's night. It's going to be Houane's night in Morocco. They'll be celebrating in the north of Africa. It's just gone 10 o'clock in Casablanca. Here in Houston, it's just hit 3 p.m. 2 p.m. in fact. It's twice I've got the time wrong in this game. But the time I won't get wrong is that there's only 60 seconds to go. And Morocco have a free kick as Schaffelberg just had a coming together with Rahimi and just stopped him running. And that will be all she wrote for this tournament for Canada. They gave it their all. They put on a show. They had a wonderful first game against Bosnia and Herzegovina where they picked up their first ever tournament point. They had to come from behind then. They then put on the equal largest win by the amount of goals against Qatar, against 9-man Qatar 6-0. They did lose to Switzerland in their final game before coming up trumps in the 92nd minute against South Africa. But here's Brahim Diaz, 3-on-1 towards the left-hand side. They could wrap it up here, and Morocco have. It's 3-0, and it's Rahimi who tucks it away. And Morocco go into the quarter-finals, and they've done it with pure delight and in absolute no empathy for Canada. They waited, they allowed Canada to come on to them, and Morocco are into the quarter-finals once again. 2022 no longer stands alone as the summit of their footballing ambition. They don't want to be handed honours anymore like they were in the African Cup of Nations. They've done this on their own merit, and they've walked into America, and they've taken out one of the host nations in Canada. Canada are out. That will probably be the last kick of the game. But they leave with proof that the country's place on afternoons like this is no longer in question. But they had the opportunity in the first half to take the lead. They didn't take it. Oluwaseyi will be the man that will be questioned the most. But the one man that won't be this afternoon is Unahi and Rahimi. Rahimi had to come on with plenty of pressure on his shoulders after Sabiri went down with a hamstring injury. They were wondering where those goals were then going to come from. And he steps up coolly in the final kicks of the game to give his side a comfortable 3-0 victory. And on an afternoon where Canada kept on going, they looked good in spells, in fact. They had the momentum, and Brahim Diaz has 2 assists, and that will be the final whistle. That chance Shamali was saying inside the first half where he should have passed it when he was through on goals of Jonathan David will be something that the Canadians will rue as they come down to defeat. But it all started in the second half really for Morocco. It livened up at the end of the first half. It was Unahi who finished after a well-worked set piece, and Hakimi went across the box. Didn't look like it was going to reach its man, but the one thing that wasn't in question was the tidy finish from Unahi into the bottom left-hand corner of Kripal's goal. Set piece again, Unahi added another. This time's Canadian set piece given away. The counter-attack was on. It looked rather slow and methodical from the left-hand side, fed it in towards Diaz, unselfishly laid it then across towards Unahi. This time put it into the roof of the net to double the advantage for Morocco. And as Canada tried to find something in the dying embers of the game, they found themselves caught out at the back once more in the 98th minute. Diaz laid it across towards Rahimi, who stepped up and tucked it into the bottom left-hand corner of Maxime Kripal's goal. Canada, one of the hosts, are out. Morocco go through to the quarter-finals once again. It's finished Canada 0, Morocco 3.